And right now they're talking about Donald Trump.
Oh, my God.
Concealing the coronavirus threat. It's almost criminal. Okay. Let's get to that.
Yes, thank you.
The big story is, of course, everyone is trying to say that Donald Trump lied to the public.
Yeah, supposedly.
Right? This comes from the Woodward interview that Donald Trump gave with his journalist, who, by the way, I was impressed because this guy has been very unfair to Donald Trump in the past.
Yeah.
So I was surprised that he gave him more information. The media confronted, and we'll show the full clip in context, but first, you should see what the media is doing and that they confronted Kayleigh McEnany? I don't know.
Yeah.
She used to book the show Huckabee when I was there. She was very nice.
Oh, nice.
Cool. Fetching young lady. Yeah. The media attacking her over Donald Trump's, as you see, this is the news right now, criminal activity.
Did President Trump intentionally mislead the American people about the threat of COVID, a pandemic
That's a professional
that has now
sweater.
cost the lives of nearly 200,000 Americans?
Absolutely not. This president, at a time when you're facing insurmountable challenges, it's important to express confidence. It's important to express calm.
Always play it down. Is playing it down, is that expressing calm? It seems dishonest. It seems.
Can
like
you
a
read
lie.
the rest of the quote?
That's how much they put in.
Is it hinted
You
in your
excluded the
plunging
last
neckline?
part.
Please
do.
Do you deny
Please do.
We'll get to that. But you know what? Come on. Let's just. She has this plunging neckline as a reporter, and then Kayleigh McEnany has, instead of that, a shirt and a cross. Good versus evil.
Contrast.
Here is there was a quote, and they edited it out of context. Did Donald Trump say, play it down? Not the most artful use of language, but let's listen to the clip in context.
I wanted to always play it down. I still like playing it down.
Yes, sir.
Because I don't want to create a panic.
Now, keep in mind, he
Makes
wasn't
sense.
saying that it didn't exist. Playing it down means I don't want people to panic while he was banning travel.
Yeah, his
From China.
actions.
He had already
making
taken
actions
actions,
on
but he
Right.
was playing it. He should have said, you know what, listen, I didn't want to blow it out of proportion. That's
Right,
clearly
yeah.
what he's saying if you look at in totality at this point of this interview where he's saying he's still playing it down. He had taken many actions to prevent the spread of the coronavirus.
Exactly, and so they're trying to hang him on his words. They're like, oh, he knew that it was deadly, and there's some other stuff
Well,
that
no,
we'll get to.
don't say that because then people will take your quote out of context. So
Right.
they're trying to hang Donald Trump on his own words. No, they're trying to hang him on an out of context.
Well, that's what I was getting
words.
to, right? They're
Yeah.
trying to hang him on something that actually doesn't exist. They're saying
Right.
that means that he was lying to the American public. He knew that this was the bubonic plague, and he said everything's fine. Go about your daily lives. That's not what he said.
Could you say
and
a
that's also
conspiracy?
yeah, exactly. And that's not what he did. He actually took action. So they're divorcing his words and his actions over here and saying
Right.
the words sound bad to us, even though they're not. And his actions, we don't want to take a look at those because those were actually
And
proactive steps.
by the way, Woodward could not have believed that he was lying to the American public because
No.
it would have been his duty to release it.
Yeah,
Instead, he's
absolutely.
like, oh, he's trying to say, again, just like an athlete, playing off an injury, playing it
Yeah.
down because you don't want people don't tend to act rationally when they are panicked.
Yeah.
That is for an example, see the Democratic Party with coronavirus and shutting
And
down
with Joe-
all
with Joe
businesses.
Biden.
So can we also remember the context here? So they showed a clip earlier from February 2nd where it was like, hey, the virus, we're trying to understand it, but it doesn't seem to be, just like a widespread pandemic at this point. Well, it wasn't considered a widespread pandemic in the first week of February. This interview occurred in the second or third week of March.
Right.
Remember, in the second or third week of March, we had Nancy Pelosi going down to Chinatown, going, everything's fine here, come on down and get the dim sum. I mean,
Right.
remember what was done there. And all of the information that we're now, with hindsight, understanding from March and February was all public.
Here is the clip, by the way, in, what was it? This is in March, Donald Trump. Again, for context, him talking about the virus.
They say we wish President Trump would give more bad news. Give bad news. I'm not about bad news. I want to give people hope. I want to give people a feeling that we all have a chance. I want to give people a feeling of hope. I could be very negative. I could say, wait a minute, those numbers are terrible. This is going to be horrible. This is a horrible thing.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
This is him around that time in March saying the exact same thing as he was saying to Woodward. They're just trying to use the words, play it down. And again, for context, we should trust the scientists. We should trust the experts. So I don't really know why that matters when this isn't a scientific issue. It's the media trying to lie to people proactively. Here is your favorite got no strings to hold me down, Marionette-in-Chief Fauci saying there were no lies.
We're talking about the reality of what was going on. And then when we would get up in front of the press conferences, which were very, very common after our discussions with the president, he really didn't say anything different than we discussed when we were with him. So I may not be tuned in to the right thing that they're talking about, but I didn't really see any discrepancies between what he told us and what we told him and what he ultimately came out publicly and said.
That man owns no upper lip. Grow a mustache. Some
Cover
people
it up.
require it. Either watchers of cuties or you. We will get to. We do have Rand Paul, so I do want to get to these points. So this is also really important. It's in the same vein of the fact that this media accused President Trump of calling the coronavirus a hoax, which he never did. He said that the politicization of the coronavirus being used against him was the latest hoax, and he was actually talking about someone, a fan, a supporter, talking to him. Here's the quote in context.
Now the Democrats are politicizing the coronavirus. You know that, right? Coronavirus. One of my people came up to me and said, Mr. President, they tried to beat you on Russia. That didn't work out too well. They couldn't do it.
His supporter was Jan Brady.
They tried the impeachment hoax. That was on A Perfect Conversation. They tried anything. They tried it over and over. They've been doing it since you got in. It's all turning. They lost. It's all turning. Think of it. And this is their new hoax. But, you know, we did something that's been pretty amazing. We're 15 people in this massive country. And because of the fact that we went early, we could have had a lot more than that.
And I'm sure people will take that clip and say, oh, way more than 15 people. That he was talking about it already being a pandemic in Europe that had spread. And keep in mind, in that exact same clip, again, context, this is what Change My Mind is. Change My Mind is not, people always say, well, why don't you do more debates? Well, we have people on the show, we debate them. But Change My Mind is not that. Change My Mind is encouraging you to rationalize your position. Let's rationalize this. He said the impeachment hoax. Okay, is he saying that the impeachment never happened, that it never existed? No, what he is saying is they were trying to falsely politicize the issue of impeachment on something that he didn't do. So, by that same token, he's not saying the coronavirus doesn't exist, just like the impeachment obviously exists. He doesn't think it's a figment of his imagination like Joe Biden. He's like, what happened? Was there impeachment? I pooped. No. He is saying that the coronavirus politicization right now is their new hoax to say that Donald Trump didn't believe it. He's actually pointing out the hoax is that he thinks it's a hoax.
Right, exactly. And they're saying that he's responsible for it and that the coronavirus is laid squarely at the feet of Donald Trump. Like, it's not the mayor's responsibility in New York City for doing all the stuff that they did. It's not Cuomo's responsibility. It's not anybody else's responsibility, Gavin Newsom in California. None of your governors or mayors can actually do anything for you. It's only the president's responsibility, and that's a hoax. That's not true. These guys have their own state emergency plans for a reason, and they did a bad job enacting those. So maybe go and talk to them.
Right. Yeah, I don't think that Nancy Pelosi thought the coronavirus was a hoax.
No.
But I think that she was playing it down when she said, why don't you take me to Chinatown? That's what I think.
And don't forget, everything that Trump was actually doing at that time was to try and protect the American borders, put restrictions
What are those?
in.
Stuff a president does.
That apparently don't exist according to some on the left.
they don't.
But,
No.
what's ultimately most hilarious about that is that he was doing that and they were saying you're not doing enough. But then every example of a country where coronavirus has been beat, the curve has been flattened, they shut down the borders.
Right. Yeah.
Right, and they didn't actually have to lock down every single place. Here's the problem.
We're way behind most other Western countries, by the way, in reopening schools.
Well,
That's
there's plenty of countries that we can look to that had less draconian measures that they implemented and had better success with the virus for a number of reasons.
Sweden?
The
Let's
reason
not tar and feather the good land of Draconia.
no,
They're good
poor
people.
Draconia. No. It's terrible. No, I'm done. I
Okay.
completely, I had a thought.
I don't know how to transition.
I didn't want to.
Legally, that was a resignation.
Sorry. No, I had a thought. I
That's
just
what
didn't want
you
to
do
go.
on election night.
Yeah.
Antifa, you go, all right,
All right.
I'm done.